Jim Rohn said, motivation is what gets you started, habit is what keeps you going. And by clicking on this video, it means you are already motivated to get some habits into place for 2021. So here are 5 strategies to help you stick to those habits, set them into your routine, and reach your goals. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. My name is Taylor and thank you so much for clicking on. For today's video, we are talking about habits, and habits take on average 66 days to establish into your routine, which is actually kind of a long time and slightly daunting, but I have 5 tips to help you make that process a bit easier. I have a bunch of self-improvement videos helping you to start the year in the best way possible this month, so make sure you are subscribed for that. But in the meantime, let's get straight on into the first one. Number 1 is to pick habits that mean something. The habits that you actually choose in the first place will affect your success rate. Think about your end goal, because after all, habits are put in place for you to achieve your goals. And if this first step has stumped you already, I have a 21 habit ideas for 2021 video, which I will link up here. So go and check that out for some inspiration first and then come back here. But for example, say that your main goal for the year is to have a happier mind. So one habit that you might put into place is to actually speak or check in with someone about your own mental health. But if you just choose the habit to stretch every day because you feel like you should, but you actually have no real desire to become more flexible, then you are less likely to see the outcome and the value of this habit, and you are less likely to stick with it. Tip number 2 is to work your way up. And realistically, we all know that jumping straight into doing 100 push-ups a day when you haven't done one push-up in 6 months is just never gonna stick. So the best way to actually stick to those habits is to ease into them. And you can do this by firstly increasing the quantity, and secondly decreasing the time gaps. So back to the push-up example, you might see something like do 20 push-ups once a week until that becomes too easy, and then bump it up to 40 push-ups every 5 days. Back to the other example about speaking or checking in with someone about your mental health. This might start with just bringing it up in conversation with a friend once a month, and then you might work your way up to actually booking an appointment with a psychologist once a week. Tip number 3 is to schedule it in. And if you know me, you know that I schedule everything in and I write everything down. And I do this because when I allocate time to it, I have no excuse. I cannot tell myself that I'm too busy or that I ran out of time, because I specifically allocated that hour to going for a walk. Having it right there in your calendar or in your diary means that it is a constant reminder, and you also feel super guilty when you remove it from your calendar when you haven't completed it. Not that you should make yourself feel bad, but there is a little bit of a guilt trip in there, which I find personally helps me. Tip number 4 is to pair your habits. And this is a really good way of embedding this new habit into a routine that is already established. So a really obvious example is to floss when you brush your teeth. So brushing your teeth might already be embedded into your daily routine. You don't even think about doing it, you just do it. And so if you floss before you brush your teeth, then you don't really have to think about setting aside time to actually floss your teeth. And it doesn't require as much energy to think about doing it and finding time for doing it. And you could also pair 2 new habits together and kind of just kill 2 birds with one stone. So say that one of your habits is to catch up with a friend every month, and then another habit is to talk to someone about your mental health. Those 2 can go perfectly together. You can go out with a friend for brunch once a month, and while you're there, kind of bring up how you're feeling, what's going on in your life. And finally, number 5 is to not take too many on at once. It can be really tempting to set 5 habits all at once, especially at the start of the year. But if you split your energy into 1 or 2 habits at a time, you're more likely to stick with them. And as I said before, one habit takes on average 66 days to establish, which is around 2 months. So giving yourself around 3 months per habit to make it really stick. Okay everybody, that is all from me. I hope you enjoyed that video. And if you found any of that helpful, make sure you like this video and let me know what habits you want to implement into your life in 2021. I would love to hear them. And I will see you for my next video. Bye!